This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning. Finding out Island Grid was never an owner in Bahamas Grid. And the F&M raising alarms over the delay of the voter register. That's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Chester Robards filling in for Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Tuesday, April 28th. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. I'm Chester Robards filling in for Dwight Strachan. In a moment, DeQuesta Dean will be joining us. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while you were sleeping in the top national and international headlines this morning. And in the overnight, Bahamas Grid Company's new Chief Financial Officer Gladys Fernando revealed yesterday that Island Grid Solutions was never an owner in BGC and that IGS was formed for the sole purpose of jump-starting upgrades to New Providence's transmission and distribution grid as the transmission and distribution manager. IGS is Pike Corporation's Bahamian subsidiary. Fernando made the statement during a call BGC held with its investors to provide an update on the company as it transitions from management under IGS. Fernando said, quote, Dario, who is BGC's new CEO, touched on it, but I wanted to make it clear that there has been some misconception that Island Grid Solutions was an owner or is an owner in Bahamas Grid. So we just want to clarify that Island Grid was never an owner in Bahamas Grid. Island Grid Solutions was the T&D manager, and then being the T&D manager, hired Pike Corporation to complete the foundational upgrade. So we just wanted to make that clear because there has been, like I said, some talk about it. So just to make clear, with the contract ending with Island Grid, that does not change the actual ownership of Bahamas Grid because they were never owners and they never held shares in Bahamas Grid. So I just wanted to clarify that. The confusion over ownership of BGC stems from the government's pronouncements in 2024 that 60% of the ownership of BGC would go to IGS. A fire alarm that prompted the shutdown of the Parliamentary Registration Department yesterday heightened concerns within the Free National Movement over the publishing of the voters' register and the broader integrity of the registration process. Parliamentary Commissioner Harrison Thompson said the alarm was caused by a power outage. Members of the F&M pledged to remain outside the Parliamentary Registration Department until they received the voters' register. The register was due to be made available to candidates yesterday, and Thompson said that would still happen. There is no delay, he told reporters outside the PRD. Today is the publishing day, and we are publishing the register. We have signed off on the register as mandated by law, and it is being published today, and they are picking up the registers today. There is no delay. F&M attorney Michael Scott described the situation as, quote, disturbing. He said, there seems to be a calculated attempt to subvert the process. The process seems to be fraught with delays and fraught with confusion. The whole process seems to be mired in confusion. And Prime Minister Philip Davis last night accused Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard and the F&M of trying to scare Bahamians over immigration. During a Progressive Liberal Party rally at the Thomas A. Robinson Stadium, the Prime Minister said the opposition leader is being reckless in some of his comments. He said, quote, yes, the country has some long-standing challenges, but we're dealing with it with practical policies and plans, which we will continue to make tougher as we move forward. And we're the ones who tightened up the slack policies which they put in place, which allowed people to get around the rules. I have worked and fought hard for this country all my life. You think I would give that away to foreigners? But PLPs, watch out for them. Looks like they're about to launch the nastiest campaign ever seen in Bahamian history. The PLP leader said Bahamians don't have time for, quote, politics, a play on the name of Pintard's satirical book on politics. He said, quote, I see they're holding something tomorrow night called SOS Code Red, Davis said. SOS is the signal you make from a sinking ship. That's the only thing they've got right in this campaign. And Progressive Liberal Party Chairman Fred Mitchell insisted yesterday that the government has not changed its tone on reports of fraud as it relates to the issuance of Bahamian passports. He labeled concerns over the issue as desperation on the part of the opposition. The government has not changed its tone, Mitchell told reporters. That's incorrect, that's false. What is happening is a propaganda war is being waged by a set of desperate opponents who are trying to smudge the Progressive Liberal Party by making up nonsense about documents and all sorts of false information on this issue. Let's look at international news now. Ukraine used interceptor systems to shoot down more than 33,000 Russian drones of various types in March, a record monthly figure since Moscow launched its all-out invasion more than 4 years ago, Ukraine Defense Minister claimed. Meanwhile, Ukraine domestically developed long-range attack drones struck a Russian oil refinery and a terminal on the Black Sea for the third time in less than 2 weeks, prompting the evacuation of local people as a precautionary measure. Ukraine has developed cutting-edge and battle-tested drone technology that has proved essential in holding back Russia's bigger army and has drawn military interest from around the world. Interceptor drones, as part of a comprehensive air defense system, are now being sought by Middle East and Gulf countries amid the Iran war, according to Ukrainian officials. Ukraine is scaling up supplies of interceptor drones to thwart Russian aerial attacks, and its military has introduced a new command within the Air Force to boost the country's capabilities, Defense Minister Mikhailo Fedorov said in a post on Telegram late Monday. And King Charles will embrace some of Washington's most formal ceremonial trappings on Tuesday as he tries to emphasize a bond between the United Kingdom and the United States that is so strong it can withstand the political turmoil of the moment. He will become the first British monarch to address the U.S. Congress since his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, in 1991. Her speech highlighted the shared history of both countries and the importance of their democratic values. themes Charles will likely reinforce on Tuesday. Such addresses are an opportunity afforded to only the most prominent world leaders, including Pope Francis, Václav Havel, and Winston Churchill. It will likely mark the most extensive public remarks Charles will deliver during a 4-day visit to the US that's intended to celebrate the country's 250th anniversary of independence from Britain. Let's turn our attention to sports now.
This is Sports Update.
Bahamians in action at the Drake Relays. While a number of Bahamian athletes were in action at the 130th running of the Penn Relays at the University of Pennsylvania's Franklin Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania over the weekend, others were in action at various other meets around the United States. Quite a number of Bahamian collegians competed at the 116th Drake Relays at Drake Stadium on the campus of Drake University in Des Moines, Iowa. Demetrius Roll, a senior for the DePaul University Blue Demons, ran in the heats of the men's 100 meters and qualified for the final with the 6th fastest time, but he did not line up for the final. Roll ran a wind-aided 10.41 seconds in the heats. Jaden Monroe, a sophomore for the Northern State University Wolves, competed in the men's long jump. At long and triple jump events, Monroe finished second in the long jump with a wind-aided leap of 7.62 meters, 25 feet. And he was sixth in the triple jump with a distance of 14.48 meters, 47 feet, 6 1/4 inches. Kenny Moxie Jr., a sophomore for the University of Mary Marauders, was in action in the men's decathlon and finished third overall with 7,086 points. He scored significantly in the 100 meter, 110 meter hurdles, 400 meters, high jump, and pole vault, placing in the top 3 in each event. And the votes are in, and the sensational season by Valdez VJ Edgecombe Jr. has been validated. Edgecombe finished third in voting for the National Basketball Association's Rookie of the Year award, as determined by a panel of 100 sports writers and broadcasters throughout the United States and Canada on Monday. The Bahamian first-year professional player didn't receive a first-place vote, had 1 second-place vote and 93 third-place votes for 96 total points. Cooper Flagg of the Dallas Mavericks edged former Duke teammate Con Dupel of Charlotte for the top spot. Flagg had 56 first-place votes and 44 second-place votes, finished with 412 total points. Dupel garnered 43 first-place votes, 55 second-place votes, and 1 third-place vote to finish with 386 points. Flagg, the number 1 overall pick in last year's NBA draft, was the first rookie since Michael Jordan in 1984 to 85 to lead his team in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. He also led all rookies in scoring, was second in assists in a 4-way tie for second in steals and 4th in rebounds. And Bahamian collegiate tennis player Michael Major Jr. and the Howard University Bison's men's tennis team had their season come to an end against the South Carolina State University Bulldogs in the 2026 Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Tennis Championships, staged at Cary Tennis Park in Cary, North Carolina on Friday. The top-seeded Bulldogs knocked off the 5th-seeded Howard Bison 4-0 in their semi-final showdown. Jr. played out the second single spot against Novak Kovic. He fought valiantly in the first set, but fell 6-4 and lost 6-1 in the second set. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at today's weather. And here's a look at today's weather for you. Your general situation: a weak frontal boundary near the northern islands will continue to support pockets of shower activity across the area through this afternoon. Elsewhere, a ridge of high pressure dominates with generally stable conditions and light to gentle breezes. The frontal boundary is expected to dissipate overnight with high pressure building in behind it. This will bring mostly stable conditions, warm temperatures, and gentle to moderate breezes through the end of the week across much of the country. However, a prefrontal trough could lead to some unsettled weather over parts of the northern Bahamas from Thursday into Friday. At the same time, a mid to upper level disturbance may increase the chances of showers over the southernmost islands before moving out of the area. High pressure is then expected to re-establish itself over the weekend, supporting mainly dry conditions and very warm temperatures. There is a moderate risk of rip currents along Atlantic exposed beaches of the island chain, while a slight risk remains across sheltered waters. Beachgoers are advised to exercise caution. The public is also advised to exercise caution during peak sunshine hours, as UV indices are expected to be in the high to very high range. Your weather outlook for the northern Bahamas: partly sunny today, becoming mainly fair tonight. A 20 to 30% chance of isolated showers. Slight chance of an isolated afternoon thunderstorm or two. Winds northeast to east at 10 knots or less, falling light and variable at times. Your high temperature today, 84 degrees Fahrenheit. Your low, 72 degrees Fahrenheit. For the northwest Bahamas, weather partly sunny today, becoming mainly fair tonight. A 20 to 30% chance of isolated showers. A slight chance of an isolated afternoon thunderstorm or two. Winds northeast to east at 10 knots or less, falling light and variable at times. Your high temperature, 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Your low, 72 degrees Fahrenheit. For the central Bahamas, weather partly sunny today, becoming variably cloudy at night. A 10 to 20% chance of isolated afternoon showers. Winds northeast to east at 10 to 15 knots. Your high temperature today, 88 degrees Fahrenheit. Your low, 75 degrees Fahrenheit. And for the southeast Bahamas, weather partly sunny today, becoming variably cloudy tonight. A 20% chance of isolated showers. Winds northeast to east at 10 to 15 knots. Your high temperature, 88 degrees Fahrenheit. Your low, 75 degrees Fahrenheit. We'll have an extended forecast for you later on in the show. When we come back, we're discussing some of the day's top stories. That's when Morning Blend continues here on Guardian Radio 96.9, home of fresh news and smart talk all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Bank the way you want.
5 years of PLP rule. Are you better off today? While you work, they've spent millions on taxpayer-funded trips, a government-funded luxury cost of millions in no-bid contracts. But for the rest of us, gas and groceries through the roof, VAT on bread basket items, healthcare that is broken, unaffordable, and out of reach. And it's not just your wallet. For 5 years, illegal immigrants have flooded our communities, putting excessive pressure on our schools, our housing, and our social services. As they flood in, Bahamian families fall behind. Under the F&M, there will be a change. The F&M has a plan to address the rising cost of living, secure our borders, protect Bahamians from illegal immigrants, and fix our health care. Because the F&M knows our job is to work for you and not the few. This message was paid for and authorized by the Free National Movement.
At CFAL, we understand that a secure future is the greatest gift you can give your employees. That's why our tailor-made group pension solutions are designed to fit the needs of both large and small companies. With CFAL, you can provide the retirement you and your employees deserve, ensuring peace of mind and financial stability for years to come. Join the many businesses that have already entrusted CFAL to create the right pension plan for their employees, and let us help you build a brighter future for your team. Visit us at cfal.com to get started on building wealth so you can live well. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
CFAL is a proud sponsor of Team Bahamas for the 2026 Carifta Games.
Looking to elevate your gadget game, or a tech trouble simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows, or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Caves Village, or call 396-1100.
When it comes to hearts at Cleveland Clinic, you can't miss a beat. You seek the best care possible, work with the brightest minds, and leave no stone unturned to get to the heart of the matter. Because understanding is always the first step to overcoming. For every heart in the world, see how we're advancing the future of heart care at Cleveland Clinic today.
5 years of POP rule. Are you better off today? While you work, they've spent millions on taxpayer-funded trips, a government-funded luxury car, and handed out hundreds of millions in no-bid contracts. But for the rest of us, gas and groceries through the roof, VAT on bread basket items, healthcare that is broken, unaffordable, and out of reach. And it's not just your wallet. For 5 years, illegal immigrants have flooded our communities, putting excessive pressure on our schools, our housing, and our social services. As they flood in, Bahamian families fall behind. Under the F&M, there will be a change. The F&M has a plan to address the rising cost of living, secure our borders, protect Bahamians from illegal immigrants, and fix our health care. Because the F&M knows our job is to work for you and not the few. This message was paid for, authorized by the Free National
We do not choose to do work for recognition, but work that is worthy of recognition. We dare to find niche solutions to fill the voids within our communities.
CIBC Caribbean wants to reward the unsung heroes in our communities. Do you know someone who's been doing outstanding work in their community or performed an extraordinary act of heroism, bravery, or kindness in the last 12 months? Nominate a hero today. Go to CIBCCaribbean.com to learn more.
The world is changing. It's bringing new challenges, but also new opportunities. The truth is, our economy always left too many Bahamians out. Now we're opening new doors in agriculture, tourism, energy, entrepreneurship, providing grants, scholarships, national service, and upskilling. A new generation is rising, and we're finally moving in the right direction, building an economy that includes everyone.
Paid for by the PLP.
No one likes a fender bender.
Oh, man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, NUA Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with free on-site accident assistance, visit us online or in branch and just ask us. NUA Insurance. Ask us because we've got you covered.
In the world of business, technology is not a choice, it's a necessity. And for businesses that dimlins, there's only one choice for unparalleled support and cutting-edge technology. Custom Computers. You have challenges and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with Custom Computers. Call the Know-How team at 396-1101.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again. Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app for your smart devices and on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 or BTC Flow Channel 612. Guardian Radio is all over social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Again, I'm Chester Robards, filling in for Dwight Strachan another day. Joining me now, Duquesa Dean.
Hey, Chester. Good morning. Good morning, Bahamas. Happy Tuesday.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday.
Hey, and guess what, Chester? If we haven't said it as yet, I don't know if we did. We're going to send a big happy birthday greeting out this morning.
We didn't.
We didn't.
No.
Okay, so we're saying happy birthday to Dwight.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Hope you have an amazing, amazing day today on your day off.
That's right. In shit.
Yes, please do.
You can join our conversation today. You could say happy birthday to Dwight all day, which I'm
All
sure
day.
y'all will do. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969. Follow the hashtag MorningBlend. Be sure to like our Facebook page, facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Leave your comments and read what others are saying about topics on the show. You can email us at morningblend@nascar.com. You can always text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC. Text us at 422-GR96. That's 422-4796. Standard text rates do apply.
Boy, one thing for sure, you can find all kind of ways to reach us.
No lie there. Also coming up this morning, more weather and traffic. We also have business news coming up in Morning Blend Business at 9 a.m. But first, it's time to talk about what's in the news. And in the news, first let's start with a short poll. A small poll, just a me and you poll, I guess, Duquesa. What did everyone know about Bahamas Grid and Island Grid and Pike?
Okay,
And whether
let's
Pike
do it.
and whether Pike was an owner in Bahamas Grid. So when they were calling for people to invest in Bahamas Grid, did most people understand that Island Grid was a separate and different company that had no ownership stake in Bahamas Grid?
No.
And did everybody follow that?
What did people buy?
People bought an equity stake in Bahamas Grid company.
In Bahamas Grid. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Right. And Island Grid is different.
Island Grid is different. Island Grid was a company formed by the owner of Pike Corporation. And so now we're learning that Island Grid Solutions was only the T&D manager. They never had an ownership stake in Bahamas Grid, which was the special purpose vehicle to move transmission and distribution out of BPL. Yep, everybody got it? Clear as mud? Good. So they had a call yesterday, Bahamas Grid Solutions, Bahamas Grid Company, because they are moving into a fully 100% ownership stake in the company. So what that means is Island Grid was the management and was managing the T&D redevelopment, right? And they therefore were managing Bahamas Grid, the entity. Okay. I'm trying to break this down for people in case everybody was like us. And
yeah, educate us, please.
wasn't sure how this thing was going down and how it was structured. Because the chief financial officer, as we say in this lead story in the Nassau Guardian today, said unequivocally that Island Grid Solutions, which was owned by Pike, Eric Pike, who owns the company Pike Corporation, which did the upgrades to the transmission and distribution. You saw the trucks all over Nassau. That company was never an owner in Bahamas Grid.
Oh, so they were like a subcontractor.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So Island Grid Solutions, formed by Eric Pike, who owns the corporation, then hired Pike Corporation to do the work to upgrade the transmission and distribution.
Mm.
And so now that we're confused, then so the heads of agreement that we saw after the government just dumped 5,000 documents on us after everyone complained that we hadn't seen the as we called it, the Pike agreement. So they dumped the Pike agreement. So in the Pike agreement, we understand kind of what the breakdown was supposed to be. But I lost my train of thought. But Island Grid did the upgrades. I remember what I was trying to say. Okay. Island Grid did the upgrades. They were working at that for they say almost 2 years. It feels like less than that, but they must have been working like ants. They're 85% complete on the work that they were supposed to do for the what they say the foundational upgrade of the grid. So you see all those nice new towers everywhere, new lines run, and so they were supposed to manage the distribution system for 25 years. That's in the heads of agreement. 25 years. Their management of the T&D system is coming to an end in June. So the question everybody was asking when Island Grid, too many grids, when Bahamas Grid said that they were moving to a 100% Bahamian management structure, everyone was like, okay, so what's happening with Island Grid? And so they explained yesterday that contract is coming to an end in June. So everybody saw the Nassau Guardian stating that Pike workers had left after the shooting of their colleague. And we learned yesterday from Bahamas Grid that they have negotiated some terms to have those workers come back to finish what they were doing, and that work should be completed by the end of June, and then they're going to switch over to whomever Bahamas Grid is able to hire to work on, I guess, the further build out of whatever they'll have left, and then the maintenance and management of the grid. Mm-hmm. So no more Island Grid Solutions, no more IGS after June. So whatever the 25 years that you thought they were going to stick around, that's not happening anymore.
So that wasn't like guaranteed as a part of a contract.
It was in the heads of agreement, and because they were giving them 25 years, and then they had an option 10 years at the end of the 25 years. So this wasn't just this was a thing. This was a connected 25 years. This is in the heads of.
So how do you just walk away?
Well,
were there no penalties? Were there
we were told yesterday that there was no breaches of agreements or anything like that led to this, even though it seems very strange. Remember when Bahamas Grid revealed that they were moving to this new management arrangement, they said that Eric Pike and May Shibata was stepping down. So stepping down sounds to me as if they were just giving it all up despite the arrangement.
Okay, wow.
Business, I don't know. Is this a normal course of business thing? Who knows? But that is the Chester breakdown of Island Grid and Bahamas Grid.
So who's taking over?
So Bahamas Grid is taking over. Anthony Ferguson is now the chairman. Eric Pike was the chairman of Bahamas Grid. So Anthony Ferguson's now the chairman of Bahamas Grid, and now there's a CEO and management team that's not connected to Island Grid anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. So text messages coming in. People seem like they have more information than me. We're gonna read some of these text messages about what we're talking about right now. So this person says, I'm super confused right now. Which investors was the CEO speaking to? Were the small investors or major investors? So all investors in Bahamas Grid. He was talking to all investors in Bahamas Grid. So if major investors, why would they be confused about ownership stakes? Wouldn't that be a key determinant in whether they invested hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of dollars in the first place? None of this makes sense. Maybe, I mean, you don't necessarily know who else invests next to you in a company, right? So, I mean, for all we know, Eric Pike himself could have been an investor in Bahamas Grid, but we know that Island Grid Solutions is not an owner in Bahamas Grid.
Okay.
So who owns Bahamas Grid? That's the question in the text message. The government of the Bahamas owns 40%, which includes BPL, and the people who invested own 60%. Those who are invested. So the text message says the government suckered the people. Say, nope, Bahama Grid contracts should be taken to court and dissolved. This was... Okay, I can't read the rest of that. This person says, good morning. Y'all talking some other stuff right now. This person says, happy birthday, Mr. Dwight Strachan. I enjoyed free first-class Caribbean Airlines travel on my birthday. Huh? Who did? As major tourism destination in the Western Hemisphere, please shall we install and embrace multilingual street signs. Interesting. This person says, what is IGS with regard to Island Grid? IGS is Island Grid. Bahamas Grid, the world spins fast. Huh? What you talking about? Okay, this person says... my question is why this had to be explained to investors. Doesn't that seem extremely odd? Then they say, no, Chester, the ownership structure has to be disclosed as part of the prospectus. That's a requirement by law. Investors are supposed to be given all the information about the thing they're being asked to invest their money in. Yeah, no, I'm sure. So I think some of the confusion about the ownership came from the government's part. As the story says, the confusion over ownership of BGC stems from the government's pronouncements in 2024 that 60% of the ownership in BGC would go to IGS. Now, that's something that the government said. It's published on a government website. And the Davis administration said in a statement, under this joint venture, this was said in 2024, under this joint venture partnership, the government will own 40% of a special purpose vehicle called Bahamas Grid Company. The other 60% will be owned by Island Grid Solutions, the local company formed by Pike Corporation. That's what the government said. However, the story goes on, however, the heads of agreement entered into by the government, BGC and IGS never states that IGS would be an owner of BGC, or specifically outlines a share structure under which IGS is an owner. The HOA also states specifically that IGS would remain the T&D manager for 25 years and be eligible for another 10 years after that tenure expires. So, I don't know what happened. All of this kind of came to a head after the gentleman was shot and pipe workers left the country, which I don't know if it stemmed from that. I don't know if, because the work stopped when the workers left, which seemed like it might be a breach to me of some kind of contractual thing.
Or did they use the incident as, they don't feel like it's safe or whatever? Like, did that give them a proper out or something?
Right.
Like,
Well, yeah, who knows? Right. We don't know.
If we knew, right? If we knew.
I don't know. You know how business is. All I know is the work stopped. And if my contract say work ain't stop until this thing done, then you broke the contract. No matter if your workers were the ones who were like, yeah, we can't stay on this island. I don't know. I have no idea. I know, well, what I know is that they said on the call that there was no breach of contract that they know of right now.
How would you know? How would we know?
How would we know?
Right. How would we know?
So that is your Cliff Notes on IGS and BGC. Let's read some more of these text messages. We get swing again, Bahamians. Why do we get swing? This person says, I hope Eric Pike take the whole government to the feds over Joe Beth Island Grid. It ain't Joe Beth Island Grid. I'm a Bahamas Grid. Don't get them confused. This person says, why is Joe Beth does control? I don't even know. I can't read that. Which would make this extremely odd? Why did the text message start with? Oh. Which would make this extremely odd. The SEC should be investigating if investors in Island Grid were either given incorrect information or deliberately misled to boost the value of the offering. Boost the value? So I don't know. I didn't see the prospectus, but some independent oversight body should be asking the questions. Okay. This person says, Pike employee was not just shot, he was murdered viciously. Yeah. Okay. This one says, the minister's response says it all. What was the minister's response? I don't even remember. Let's take a call. Good morning, call. Good morning, Blend.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Man, this French family, foreigners, and lovers thing with my PLP government, it really confusing. It's like they don't really want us, they want us to be confused. And then they talking about they going over Freeport, but they trying to own the company. I mean, does that mean then people in Freeport will be getting to the same foolishness? You don't know who own it. You don't know who get the shares. We don't know if one set of people who seems like they barely ain't get no bottom. They are part of it and all of that stuff. You know what we really want to know? Chester, maybe this you there?
Yeah, we're here.
Maybe this the big story to you. You know what we want to know? If that registry open with the people who register, I don't think I'm the only one want to know how much persons. Say it this way: how much Bahamians of Haitian parentage here in the Bahamas register to vote in this general election coming up and be ready to go on that early voting Thursday? Why don't find out that first? That's important. This thing about who owned this and who that. They intentionally, this ain't no mistake or this intentionally what they want to make us. We get more important things to worry about. and stuff like that. Yeah, you know how we can find out what the real thing? Change the government. Give them a timeout. Even if it's PLP.
Mm-hmm.
Keep up the good work. Answer me that, Chester, please.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe when the people who have the register will let us know, since they got eyes on it. Let's take this next call. Caller, welcome to Morning Blend.
Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You know what we're experiencing is called governance by camouflage, intellectually anemic at the core, opaque in delivery, vacuous in content, sterile in imagination, and perfected through intellectual masking. You know, everything about this government is never what they say it is. And it's almost like they become architect of economic chaos. The government gives us one story. It's like gaslighting us. It's like, let's use the documents. There's no problem. There's a crisis. Nothing has changed. You have this Pike thing for years. This isn't weeks, you know. This is years from the time it came in promising us lower energy rates. Stories changing in Parliament. The outfit says misleading the House, then throwing the Prime Minister under the bus, comes back, changes anything else. The misleading of information to the media, then sending you guys on a chase with a few thousand pages of documents that's not in order. And it seems as if though nothing, like as if though we are totally devoid of promises made, freedom of information, integrity, anti-corruption. It's like nothing promised has been delivered. And then we are supposed to believe that what is happening now is purely our imagination. I don't know what to call it. It seems as if though we've had runaway governance for the last 4.5 years, and only this early quitting by the Prime Minister, that he decides to quit. And then somewhere when he decided to quit, he says, give me another chance to finish what I didn't finish. It seems now that we're beginning to realize that we have done nothing but deceived us. I don't know what else to call it. I mean, sort of the next 4.5 years, I'd like to see you run a story telling us exactly what has happened, because we can't find any clarity on anything. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You know, that C. Allen brought it up. You know how dastardly that document dump was? Sorry for the alliteration. When you think about it, that document dump of the new energy future thing, with all of the contracts from all of the people, including this island grid, island Bahamas grid, HOA, that really, it's as if, you know, when you're having an argument with somebody and you say, hey, get this thing back to me. And you're like, no, get this thing back to me. And then they finally give it back to you, but they pitch it at you, you know, and place you with it.
Yep.
And it's nothing short of that, because, you know, government putting together beautiful websites every day and launching them to break up PDF documents that are already, I'm sure, broken up in somebody's system based on, you know, each deal being done, could have been loaded and put in a nice way for everybody to find and look up. You know what I mean? Drop 5,000 pages on you one time.
Right.
That really was a dastardly thing to do. You know, I don't know if I ever sat and thought about it. I mean, it probably crossed my mind, but now that C. Allen brought it up again, you know, and as we had to wade through the pages to find whatever we wanted to find, it was just stink. That's the only way to put it. Let's read some more of these text messages. Good morning. No, read that already. This person says, good morning. I think Pike always wanted out because of all the confusion they were having. So this was their, I don't know. This person says, vote them out. Vote F and M. Okay.
Oh, gee.
This person says, good morning. Contracts of that magnitude will have an exit clause. I'm sure. And if you still have the 5,000 documents, you could wade through that and see if you find it. But it's I'm sure it doesn't. It may not say specifically, in so many words as you read through it, what could have caused it, but it might be in there. This person says, does Pike still exist in November 2025? Oh, does Pike still exist in November 2025? Pike was bought out. I think it still exists. This person says, the PLPs are all jokers. They really think all Bahamians are stupid and can't see what shortcomings and failures. Their so-called progress is not good enough for a second term. PLPs must go now. Okay. All right. This person says, okay. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Morning Blend.
Good morning, and thank you both for the information. It's really revealing, even though it's trickling in. Do you see a similar situation here with the Epstein file being dumped? All the files, the millions and millions and trillions of files just dumped, some of it redacted. In this case, you have a document dump, and you can't decipher through it. But I'm asking you, in looking through it, have you seen anything relating to renewable energy with the Island Grid solutions?
With Island Grid?
Or with this new Pike? Or these? See, you don't know who to call what is what, but is there anything in the document where we are moving away from fossils to renewable?
Well, that deal was only about transmission and distribution, not power generation, so they wouldn't have.
Okay. Thank you very much. But there's no deal that they can do as it relates to getting us off fossil.
Yeah. Most of the documents that we're talking about were about solar generation and moving to liquefied natural gas.
And progress has been done toward that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there any place I can go and find that information?
Go look on Google Maps. Follow Carmichael Road. You can see one big plot of land that they tear down some trees close to Coral Harbor. I'm pretty sure that's where they put in the solar array for one of New Providence's solar sites.
Do you know what megawatt capability is going to be there?
I don't remember. I don't remember what the size is.
Okay, but thanks for leading me. Appreciate it.
No problem. Have a good one. Friend says, research. Maybe the new owners of Pike have no interest in the Bahamas Grid and Bahamas Grid. Maybe they have no whatsoever. This person says, why would you have to go through 5,000 documents to find what you're looking for? And you have all type of AI-generated prompts you can use. Yeah, but that's not the point I'm making. That's not the point I'm making. All right, so let's quickly look at this. Davis says, F&M trying to scare Bahamians over immigration. Is he? Is it me? Okay, stop me if I'm wrong. Please tell me I'm wrong if you call or if you text in. But after the F&M started to talk about fake documents, et cetera, the only thing in the news is people getting arrested for fake documents. Is it just me? All of a sudden, the news getting arrested and sent to court for fake documents. Two questions. Have you seen this? Is it just me?
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it the last few weeks for sure.
The conversation comes up. The governments get and they're like, we're taking a strong stance, and then all of a sudden, the court case is rolling in. The police customs picking up this one, immigration picking up this one. I'm like, and we hearing about it. And maybe we weren't hearing about it before. And maybe the government said, hey, they think we ain't doing nothing. Make sure to publicize all of it.
I guess.
I don't know.
There's so much heightened conversation around it, and its impact on what people believe that its impact will be on the election. They are I guess demonstrating that some sort of effort is being um, I guess taking these people to court where they find that there are fraudulent documents. But I don't know if it's actually making a difference or if it's working because there's so much propaganda out there with the amount of purported fraudulent documents that
Yeah.
taking one to two or every so often someone to court. I don't know if that has been enough to reduce the concerns that are out there. I mean, I don't know what you think, but you know,
Listen, like you said, there's so much going around out there. You're just on your head spinning right now.
Exactly.
So, so I don't know, but you look in the paper, and I think there's a story in the Tribune today. Dominican faces court over fake passport and voters card. Even the voters card. Until the election came up, you weren't hearing about voters cards.
The
I'm
voters
sure
correctly.
that's been a problem forever, but you weren't. It wasn't so publicized as it is now. Around somebody saying that somebody getting picked up with
Yep.
a voter's card or a passport.
Like everybody on guard now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't get it. So I see some text messages coming in saying, "No, it's not just you." When Pintard spoke about it, the PLP called him everything but a child of God. Now it's just arrests and charges on fraudulent documents. This resident says, "Good morning, Chester. Regarding PLP immigration stance, it's not just you. I have noticed it too." No, Chester. They only started to look up these people to make it seem like they're doing something. Look at the penalties they are given. We joking.
see, that's. I mean, I think that's kind of what I mean when I say that yes, every so often you have um someone going for the courts or whatever. However, when you look at the scale of what's been spread out there and the concerns really minute, the action seems minute.
Right.
And then everyone has a right to, I guess, get naturalized in once they follow the right legal process. But we must all agree that it's been a whole lot more recently. The papers have just been full of people who are seemingly going through the due process of saying, hey, I want to, claim citizenship or whatever. So you've seen in the last few publications as well that there have been a lot. And like you say, it's not only just one nationality. So is there cause for concern? It's a question to be answered.
Yeah, no. No, so this next text messenger, nope, it's all of us, not only you. It's how the game is played, Chester. Is it? We playing games? Is that what's happening? This person says illegal immigration is real in the Bahamas. Bahamians on April 3rd. This person just sending text messages, but vote them out. All right, let's try and take these to our break. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Morning Blend.
Morning, hello.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hi.
This election thing is going on now. I'd like to say something to the people, and please don't cut me, okay? Everybody, y'all get over F&M PLP things, okay? I'm a mother who was let go for a reason that wasn't a reason, okay? They made it up. I went to the labor board for assistance, found out at the end of the day, labor board was working with the company that wanted to let me go. I wrote to my MP, I wrote to the Minister of Labor and told them exactly what happened, okay? I took it as it was, and I went out looking for jobs. When I see how hard it was to find a job, and now I needed to get my unemployment, what I've been paying NIB for from I was 16, they're going to tell me that I put it in too late.
You put in unemployment too late?
Yes.
How is
I'm
that?
looking for a job because, hey, I know I'm able to work and I'm working. So I'm trying to find a job, and now when I actually needed the assistance what I've been paying all my life, they're going to tell me, oh, you're going to have to wait. And it's been over a month. I sat down with my MP, and the MP is going to tell me, what do you expect me to do? I said, I expect you, number one, to make sure what happened to me happened to no one else. I need you to know that, hey, the labor board that's supposed to be working for the Bahamian people, they're not. They're working with this company. Okay? I wrote a letter to the Minister of Labor, didn't get a response. Bahamian people, please put away this F&M PLP thing. If the elected officials are not working for the Bahamian people, they don't deserve to be there.
Yep.
Get over it, because Axel Left and Shine is going to continue to go on. And if they don't look at you now, they're not going to look at you afterwards. So Bahamian people, please forget F&M PLP. Vote for who's going to do and who's going to look out for the common man. Have a good morning, guys.
Yeah, I hope you get that NIB thing sorted out. I don't know how you could go to NIB for unemployment benefits. And
I
they
think
tell
there's
you,
a period of time. I do think that there's a.
You mean
I
after
think that,
being laid off, there's a period of time?
yeah, I think after being laid off, like you can't go 7 months later. I mean, I'm gonna look it up while we go on the break, but I
Yeah,
do think that
look it up.
there's a
Because what if
time.
you had some money saved that you could live on for a couple, weeks while you're looking for a new job, but then you realize, like she said, jobs for her were hard to find.
Don't wait. I mean, immediately apply.
So
Even if you have that
that's
little couple
very
dollars there. I'll look it up though when we go to the break.
All right, let's try to squeeze this one call in. Yeah, good morning, caller. Welcome to Morning Blend. Caller, you there? Good morning, caller. Welcome to Morning Blend.
Hi, I'm calling that caller. She really didn't make up that story. That happened to me also.
Oh, wow.
I mean, the same exact thing. It's a system.
Mm-hmm.
That she didn't make that up. That happened to me 5 years ago after paying NIB from age 16.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the court and everything was like rigged. I can't understand it. The same, this lady isn't making up the story. I am also, man, we need to really get together and file a suit.
Yep. Class action.
That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say. That is so right.
Thank you. Get them class actioned over there. It's funny. It's funny because when, like I always say on this radio, I used to hear about people have a court case coming up, and I always thought, how everybody documents is go missing. Until I had a court case that was about to come up, and my documents were missing too, and I was like, oh, this is a system thing.
No.
The people set you up around here all day, every day. Somebody setting in this Christian nation. Anyway, we're gonna go to a news break, and Morning Blend will return after.
See you on the other side.
And deeper than the deepest sea. That's how I will love you, darling, endlessly. Softer than the gentle breezes, and stronger than the wild tree. That's how I will hold you, darling, endlessly. Oh, darling, endlessly. Oh, my love, you are my heaven. you're my kingdom. Girl, you're my crown. Whoa, whoa, my love, you're all I prayed for. You were made for. Faithful as the morning sunrise, and sacred as a love can be.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
And now at 8:24, it's time for your final look at today's weather. Your general situation, a weak frontal boundary near the northern islands will continue to support pockets of shower activity across that area through this afternoon. Elsewhere, a ridge of high pressure dominates with generally stable conditions and light to gentle breezes. The frontal boundary is expected to dissipate overnight with high pressure building in behind it. This will bring mostly stable conditions, warm temperatures, and gentle to moderate breezes through the end of the week across. Prefrontal trough could lead to some unsettled weather over parts of the northern Bahamas from Thursday into Friday. At the same time, a mid to upper level disturbance may increase the chances of showers over the southernmost islands before moving out of the area. High pressure is then expected to re-establish itself over the weekend, supporting mainly dry conditions and very warm temperatures. There is a moderate risk of rip currents existing along Atlantic exposed beaches of the island chain, while a slight risk remains across sheltered waters. Beachgoers are advised to exercise caution. The public is advised to exercise caution during peak sunshine hours, that's 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., as UV indices are expected to be in the high to very high range. Your weather outlook for the northern Bahamas. Weather partly sunny today, becoming mainly fair at night. A 20 to 30% chance of isolated showers. A slight chance of an isolated afternoon thunderstorm or two. Winds northeast to east at 10 knots or less, falling light and variable at times. Your high temperature today, 84 degrees Fahrenheit. Your low, 72 degrees Fahrenheit. For the northwest Bahamas, your outlook partly sunny today, becoming mainly fair tonight. A 20 to 30% chance of isolated showers, a slight chance of an isolated afternoon thunderstorm or two. Winds northeast to east at 10 knots or less, falling light and variable at times. Your high temperature today, 86 degrees Fahrenheit, your low 72 degrees. For the central Bahamas, weather partly sunny today, becoming variably cloudy at night. A 10 to 20% chance of isolated afternoon showers. Winds northeast to east at 10 to 15 knots. Your high temperature, 88 degrees Fahrenheit, your low 75 degrees Fahrenheit. For the southeast Bahamas, weather partly sunny today, becoming variably cloudy tonight. A 20% chance of isolated showers. Winds northeast to east at 10 to 15 knots. Your high temperature, 88 degrees Fahrenheit, your low 75 degrees Fahrenheit. In your extended forecast for tomorrow, for all areas, weather partly sunny to sunny, turning mostly fair at night. For all areas, a 10 to 20% chance of showers. Winds for the northern Bahamas are east to southeast at 10 knots or less, with occasional higher gusts becoming southeast to south at 10 knots or less, falling light and variable by the evening hours. For the northwest Bahamas, winds east to southeast at 10 knots with higher gusts during the morning hours, decreasing to less than 10 knots by the afternoon hours. For the central and southeast Bahamas, winds northeast to east at 10 to 15 knots, decreasing to 10 knots or less across the central Bahamas by the afternoon hours. Your high temperature today, 73 degrees Fahrenheit. 84 degrees Fahrenheit, 73 degrees Fahrenheit. And your outlook for Thursday, for the northern Bahamas, a mix of sun and clouds during the day, becoming partly cloudy at night. For the southeast Bahamas, partly cloudy to cloudy during the day, becoming variably cloudy at night. And elsewhere across the Bahamas, partly to mostly sunny during the day, becoming fair at night. For the northern and southeast Bahamas, there is a 20 to 30% chance of isolated showers and thunderstorms on Thursday. Elsewhere, a 10 to 20% chance of showers. Winds in the northern Bahamas on Thursday, south to southwest at 10 to 15 knots, with higher gusts during the evening hours. Winds northwest in the northwest Bahamas, southeast to south at 10 knots or less. Central and southeast Bahamas, winds easterly at 10 to 15 knots, falling light and variable at times across the central Bahamas. And your high stay, 88 degrees Fahrenheit, your low, 75 degrees. We're going to look at today's weather, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. Ready to refresh your space? Head to your local Sherwin-Williams for premium paint, pro tips, and everyday deals that make it easy to get started. And here's a look at your traffic, brought to you by NUA Insurance. And yes, Lauren, parts of Nassau are looking a bit jammy at the moment, including Gladstone Road. Some traffic there as you approach the hill toward John F. Kennedy Drive. Traffic almost backed up down to Fire Trail Road. Sir Malabudla Highway looking a little surprising this morning. The traffic is flowing as you get onto Sir Milo Butler, but you're going to meet that as you approach Tony Williams Darling Highway. Slow commute there at the moment. Some movement on Carmichael Road as you approach Brew Hill Road, and you're going to meet congestion as you get to the hill there toward the Big Chicken. A lot of traffic between East Street and Blue Hill Roads if you're heading east on the highway on Independence Drive. Robinson Road and Prince Charles, lots of traffic there. Some pockets moving, but you're going to meet a lot of resistance if you're heading northwest. Lots of traffic on Soldier Road as well if you're heading toward Prince Charles there. A lot of traffic on Bernard Road and Soldier Road if you're heading toward Village Road and Wolf Road. It's a lot of traffic trying to get to that one intersection. It seems like a lot of traffic on Eastern Road as well today. Village Road and some traffic on Shirley Street as well before Mackey Street. Traffic backing up to the roundabout there by Saunders Beach as well. Not quite to Go Slow Bend, but it looks like it could get there. Those are your traffic hotspots for the moment, brought to you by NUA Insurance. This traffic update brought to you by NUA Insurance, agents and brokers, your partner for smart motor insurance and advice that puts you first. Whether you're at home or on the go, getting an instant motor quote is easy. Call us, visit your nearest branch, or log in anytime at nuainsurance.com.
PLP rule. Are you better off today? While you work, they've spent millions on taxpayer-funded trips, a government-funded luxury car, and handed out hundreds of millions in no-bid contracts. But for the rest of us, gas and groceries through the roof, VAT on bread basket items, healthcare that is broken, unaffordable, and out of reach. And it's not just your wallet. For 5 years, illegal immigrants have flooded our communities, putting excessive pressure on our schools, our housing, and our social services, and families fall behind. Under the F&M, there will be a change. The F&M has a plan to address the rising cost of living, secure our borders, protect Bahamians from illegal immigrants, and fix our health care. Because the F&M knows our job is to work for you and not the few. This message was paid for and authorized by the Free National Movement.
Every day in a busy world, we have to do so much. Bank with CIBC and get that personal touch. Share your ambitions, let us help your dreams come true. At CIBC, you're at the heart of all we do. We're on your side, we're listening, we know the way you feel. CIBC, ambitions made real.
We make it better. Better ingredients, better flavors, better quality. A signature sauce that families have always counted on. We are not only serving your family, but our families too. 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas with center squares or cheesy bread for just $29.95. When you want pizza you can trust, choose Marco's. Your family deserves the best. Marco's Pizza, crafted with heart.
Don't shop at Sherwin-Williams then. Don't get the best service in the Bahamas then.
The love is really, really strong in Sherwin-Williams. We don't just sell paint. We service you with a smile, good hearts, mind, soul, and body. And we love our customers as much as we love ourselves.
Yes, real talk.
I'm not just saying this
Real talk.
to impress myself.
We love to go beyond with customer service. So they feel delighted to come in Sherwin-Williams because they know I can either see Dee Dee, or I can see Shelly, or one of our other wonderful staff members. We treat our customers with the respect of our boss because there are many paint companies they could choose to go to. No, baby. If they go to some other paint companies, so I'm going to get this little thing at the end of the week.
We want to make sure you get that little ting, Shelley. Come visit Shelley and Dee Dee at Sherwin-Williams, Bahamas, and you'll surely find colour in every day.
Under the F&M, shanty towns grew. The PLP is demolishing them. The F&M made it easier to get a passport. The PLP fixed their mess and is cracking down on fraud. The F&M let investment in the Defense Force slow to a crawl. The PLP added hundreds of officers and new interceptors. Under the F&M, migrants flooded into the Bahamas. The PLP repatriated record numbers. The F&M offers talk. The PLP offers a real record. Paid for by the PLP.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is needs. Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
The following is a paid political message.
Kalani, whoa, hey, Kalani, oh, the future is brighter. Oh, vote for my diver, hey, 'cause she is a fighter. Find it here. You're looking for truth. Find it here. Vote for MacGyver. She's here for you. See everybody in Kalani. Change his hair. Hey, hands in the air. See everybody in Kalani. MacGyver. She is a fighter.
That was a paid political message.
No one likes a fender bender.
Oh, man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, NUA Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with free on-site accident assistance, visit us online or in branch and just ask us. NUA Insurance. Ask us because we've got you covered.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Once I had a gal, she called me pain. Left me in the cold and pouring rain. So I decided to put her down. I took a trip to Cowboy Town. Had a pain. Outside in the field, cotton cane. She looked so good, my nature eyes, my Lord. And I look into her big brown eyes. I said, look what you could get when you're tired of what you got. Look what you could get when you're tired of what you got. That's all with a woman, that's a fact. Look what you could get.
Good morning. Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. I'm Chester Robards along with DeQuesta Dean. I'm in here in the studio all by myself, jamming.
Oh, are you feeling a little lonely, Chester?
I'm a little lonely. No.
I mean, I could come in and contaminate the air.
No, I want you to feel.
I'm sure you would prefer for me to be right where I am.
Oh yeah, I want you to feel better and be comfortable where you are. I know I hope you comfortable in your bed.
No,
curl up talking to
not
us.
in my bed. I would be talking right out of my head. So comfortable.
I when that song comes on, like the guitar picking in the beginning, if to me, like if you're in a room, an international room, and I hear that, anybody else who's a Bahamian could start moving to that song.
Exactly.
Because that bing bing ding ding ding, yo, that is do something to me.
That music, yeah.
I was jamming in here just now.
See, and that's another good reason that you could just be yourself and while out in there, not a single soul watching you except the producer, of course.
I would have come in my pajamas if they had turned the cameras off. I had to put on clothes today.
Oh.
So we Lauren keeps distracting me, man. We were talking about this immigration thing and all of these arrests for passport fraud and voter card fraud and all kinds of things, and how it just seemed to be popping up now. It's very interesting, and a lot of text messages came in because we spoke about that on the way to the break. Just good morning. If you find the bad actor in the department, then you review all his work. Seems simple to find any fake docs he made since it was him making it. Yeah, I guess you're right. Depends on if you could find the stuff. Interesting. I don't know. This person said, good morning. It is a cause of concern because America is getting rid of most of them and they have nowhere else to go. So they come here, so it's a problem for the bombers. Who are we talking about? This person says, please remember that only a fraction of fraud is caught. So there are hundreds of fraudulent documents in our system that are not caught. The same for deportation of illegals. We count the ones caught, but not the ones that clearly are growing in our country, increasing the demand for fraudulent documents to work the system. That reminds me, there was a video going around yesterday or whenever it was going around with some fellas playing soccer, and like So their team jerseys were like different, the different party jerseys, party shirts. So it was a good use of shirts. They're like, hey, we don't have no team colors. You grab some PLP blue, you grab some F&M red, and then we got professional looking teams on this football pitch. This person says, good morning, Chester. Do you know how there are these 1 or 2 busts, but the real shipments are allowed through? That's how it is with these persons being put before the courts for these fraudulent documents. Only 1 or 2 are caught and penalized, but the real shipments of fraudulent documents are allowed to go to the masses. Well, I don't know if that's how this one is working, but yes, that is. I've heard that in the drug game, that's what you. Is it a rope-a-dope? I don't know what it is. You bait and switch, smoke screen. Maybe it's all of them. You report. You get some lackeys to go run some drugs, and you report them. So all the authorities have to move their resources that way, and then you just go slip through another way. I'm sure that's what they do. This person says, the texter who just called makes the point I'm making. Yes, NIB does require you to file unemployment within a given period. But should someone be looking at the rules say this needs to be in this administration and they need to go? But we have to put fire on the potential replacements now. Yeah, did you find it, DeQuesta? And I now that people are saying it, like I vaguely remember that there is a time frame between being laid off and filing for unemployment.
They didn't exactly put a like a do it within this particular time, but they did say that immediately after your termination, it has to be involuntary termination, first of all, which means you got fired.
Right.
That you immediately go to NIB and fill out whatever. There are some conditions as well.
Mm-hmm.
They spoke to 1 second, let me just grab it again.
Okay. Let me just read this text message. Good morning. Was trying if something happened over PI Bridge. Traffic is bumper to bumper. I saw somebody else was telling me that there was a lot of traffic there as well. Not sure if anything happened.
Okay, so here it is. It says that you have to have at least 40 contributions in total, and 13 of those contributions have to have been in like the last 26 weeks before becoming unemployed. You get approximately up to 13 weeks, approximately up to, so it's not guaranteed that you get 13.
Right.
Again, say that claims are usually expected within 21 days of job. Now, all of this, again, I think is conditional on whether the employer was actually paying your contributions and all that sort of stuff. So there is a timeline that you just can't wait 6 months after and say, hey, let me go apply.
Right.
So, and then I think someone had also texted about there being a cap on industrial claims, and I was not aware that there was that. So maybe this could be a good discussion for understanding your benefits that NIB could come on and talk us through.
Yeah. Yeah. This text message, pan, our economy and families are under duress under this PLP admin. Mayday, our country's governance under this PLP admin is collapsing. SOS, save our sovereignty as our systems and... Is this a poem? As our systems and borders under this PLP admin are failing. Fight for your country, Bahamians, or you will lose it under this PLP government. Exercise your right to vote. Has everybody got a vote campaign?
But I don't know if you noticed, Chester, both of the commercials or advertisements that we played, both PLP and F&M, spoke about this very same illegal immigration problem.
Mm-hmm.
So they talking about it too. Just as much spreading propaganda about what the next party did and what the next party didn't do. So they're playing into the same psyche as well.
Yeah. Yeah. This person, have you seen the building supplies vouchers being given out in Abaco and the Crown Land applications? Yes. The Tribune has a story in the page 3 today about the vouchers. And I see they must have talked to Valentine Grimes, who says there's nothing wrong with giving that assistance as long as you're not doing it to influence their vote. Yep, that's not why you're doing it right now.
Yeah.
This text message is good morning, and the PM was sweating bricks last night when he announced the greatest untruth was his next what? What? I can't. I don't even understand that. Anyway, this person says Charlene and Vonique are two excellent Guardian News female broadcasters. They are very professional in their craft. Well done, ladies. Absolutely. Thank you for that text message. We don't give them enough kudos. And it's funny because I was just saying how great Vonique's voice is. And Charlene is absolutely flawless at delivering the news. So yes, thank you for that text message. Kudos to our two great radio reporters. This person says immigrants of all nationalities. Oh, okay. This person, Chester, are you doing the Chinese Dragon Boat race this weekend? Is it this weekend? Why is this? Why are you asking me that?
So randomly. So randomly.
I thought Dragon Boat race usually closest to the end of the year. Anyway.
No, I think it's May.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. The person says, good morning. Yes, industrial injury payments at NIB are paid up to 40 weeks.
Okay.
This person says, good morning, Chester. This, unfortunately, is just a tip of the iceberg when it comes to the level of corruption in the public service, and these people are emboldened due to the fact that they got their jobs through their politicians. You can get anything in the Bahamas once the price is. One thing you could guarantee around here, somebody can tell somebody can tell somebody. And these stories don't become legend. They're not legends. They are real stories. This person says, did the question say you have to be fired to get unemployment benefits? That's not so. Involuntary would mean that you did not resign. The money is supposed to provide support while you find another job from unexpected job release.
Okay, whatever involuntary dismissal means,
right.
That's what they cover.
Right.
That means you didn't resign voluntarily. Your job was taken from you in some way or form.
Right. And another text message came in. I love that everybody's continuing the kudos. Says, please say in regard to Vonique and Charlene that I've been on the radio for 30 years and they are two of the best voices to ever do it. Yes, I agree. Let's take this call that's coming in. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Morning Blend. Morning Blend. Yeah, we're still here. Caller, you there? No caller there. Okay. Why are you calling the text line? Don't call the text line. Text the text line.
Just a little excited.
Yeah, we got a call coming in. There you go. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Morning Blend.
Yeah, good morning, Chester. Good morning, DeCresso.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, Chester, I tuned in late, but let me ask you, has there been any pronouncement or announcement in respect to this voter fraud thing, or are we going into elections with these things just popping up at random? Not really random, more more aggressively now, because it seems like every other day you're finding someone who have documents that they're not supposed to be having. Are we safe as Bahamians? And I'm asking the Bahamians, are we safe as Bahamians? Or we feel comfortable now that everyone who is in the most important process in our time, these elections, are persons who are supposed to be on the voter registration list?
Well, we keep hearing from them that difficult thing you can do with your voter's card is vote. It's not to say that while they're finding fraudulent voters' cards, that's what they have them for. I mean, because don't forget.
Even though we might find fraudulent voters' cards, I honestly believe that you have persons who have authentic documents who are not supposed to even be having them.
But that might be a much deeper issue that you can't
but the government is saying that these are isolated situations. But I haven't heard anything authoritative, like from the AG's office, warning persons who would have perhaps have these documents, knowing that they're not supposed to be voting and are planning on voting. We're not hearing anything. You're hearing from the opposition, but I'm not hearing anything from the government perspective, the attorney generals, in terms of wanting these persons to stay away. You understand what I'm trying to say, Jeff?
I understand your concern. Yeah, absolutely. But
I don't know whether they may have said something, and I didn't hear that.
No, you didn't miss anything. You keep hearing from the government side about voting that you shouldn't worry about fraudulent voters' cards, right? Because
they are quite relaxed, and the only persons who are concerned is the opposition, but the government side is pretty much relaxed.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying? That is what is happening.
Or they're comfortable that the system that they are currently overseeing.
You see why we need to have more of these international observers, right?
More of them, yeah.
We need to have more. The more the merrier. Because obviously the government
Tell me exactly what they will do, the international observers.
I didn't hear that.
Those of us.
We need to have the immigration station at these things, and the police, more than ever before, because, this voting process should be exclusively for Bahamians and legitimate Bahamians, not persons who are interfering with this election. But I don't know why the government is so relaxed. I don't know why the Attorney General is so relaxed, the Minister of National Security, and he has responsibility for elections.
Yeah.
The only thing I heard the Minister of National Security said was he issued a warning to persons who may suspect someone may be voting who isn't supposed to be voting, and what can happen to you if you interfere. But this is just mind-boggling and confusing to me. Because it should have been something now, because this is more. I've been seeing it. Maybe it's been happening, but we just wasn't paying attention in previous elections. But something is amiss. I don't know what it is.
It sounds like you want them to put off elections until we figure out the
entire fraud.
The entire fraud
postpone this thing. I really wish. Because the numbers, these things are too frequent now. That's what I mean. It's too frequent.
And
something has to be done. Some warning has to be issued in terms of the penalties and what will happen. Or even we will investigate 2 years after the election if you may have voted. But something has to be said authoritatively to discourage these persons, because I still believe that they haven't found all this yet. I still believe some are still in the system.
Yeah.
But
thank you.
Let's see what happens. But I expect, I hope it don't be chaotic. But we supposed to have a smooth election and a smooth transition.
Yep.
But this seems like it's going to be a ball of confusion. That's what it seems like to me. Yeah, but thanks for allowing me.
Thank you. No, appreciate it. I understand the concerns. We can't put off the elections until we weed out fraud. That's going to always be with us.
Yeah, right.
And we don't, like you said and suggested, we don't know how deeply entrenched this whole fraudulent voters card and passport situation is. So
they would be dumb to do the majority of the concentration, let's say that it was happening, of that in the few weeks leading up to the election? Like if you were plotting to do something, like would you do it right before? Like wouldn't you have been doing it in the years past so that it doesn't seem so obvious, or we're
Right.
not that smart? I don't
Some
know.
people eat this stuff up for breakfast. Yeah. So I don't know. But he he made an interesting point. If it is peddled right now, so that the government can say, look, see what we're doing. Well, you're doing yourself a disservice because now people are majorly concerned.
Right. Because now you have evidence that it is actually happening.
Yeah. So
Interesting. So interesting.
yeah. Let's take this next call. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Morning Blend.
Yes, morning.
Morning.
You know, I have an issue with the students, right? What's being done to the students in the Bahamas, you know, as it pertains to athletics, you know. I see that I had reason to pass by CMAC Fest and the property next to it, and I could see that there's fresh tar on a track. What's the purpose for tar on tracks in the Bahamas? You get the same thing at CC Street, and you get the same thing at Bailey. You know, you have tar on a track. You know, and then you have an Iron Bailey, that's a gymnasium that they lost years ago and never replaced. You know, we have schools with no gymnasium. I feel that every school should have a gymnasium that can serve as a shelter for the students and their families. You understand what I'm saying? That's, you know, and these schools should have like cafeterias, proper cafeterias for you know what I'm saying, for that purposes in emergencies like that, catastrophic issue that comes about in the Bahamas in terms of hurricanes. You see, but for that reason, the PLP not helping them because of them who put these tires on these tracks and refuse to build gymnasiums in our schools. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You heard it. Don't vote for people who tars tracks. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Morning Blend. Morning, caller. Welcome to Morning Blend.
Good morning. Yeah, I totally agree with the previous caller when he said we should have immigration officers outside of this our election polling stations.
To do what?
Because the cry has been too loud for weeks now about these floating documents that's not legal.
What's the immigration officer going to do outside polling
he's gonna
stations?
do, if he got to check everyone that comes on the line, make sure that it's like they can speak English, whatever it is. It's too much outcry from the public, whatever it takes. And maybe come to do something underwater and they see immigration, what they can do? They ain't getting on the line. They can break off running. Okay, whatever it takes.
I see.
That's the point where we are in this country right now.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for your concerns. Let's try to take this final call, and I'll try and get through these text messages quickly. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Morning Blend. Caller, you there? Oh, turn on your radio. No? Okay. Let me just read these text messages before we switch over to...
One quick question. Mm-hmm. So, you know, recently they've been identifying fraudulent, like NIB cards or voters cards or whatever. That's how these people ended up in court. Mm-hmm. Do we know if the poll workers are or have been trained in vetting or certifying that the presented document is valid?
I have no idea. But they depend, it seems, that we keep hearing, chiefly on the counterfoil. So if you got that, then you could vote unabated and you're fine. Now, when you registered to vote, I don't know how deeply those people have to look into whether or not the documents that you provided to them look right or are right or I don't know. Let me just try to get to some long text and it's just Chester, you're talking about music, the independence music for Kalani. Give her music. Her music is jamming. I don't even live in that constituency, but I find myself randomly singing to a jingle. Yes, I agree. But okay, all right. Sorry we couldn't get to all of your text messages, but thank you for your texts. We're going to transition to Morning Blend Business, and we got a special Morning Blend Business coming up. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Now the little petty shop in the neighborhood, the owner knows everyone around there real good. So he trusts one planting and some tomato paste. Thank you, big smile on their face. You don't see them no more, they done cook, you see. They got money now, so they shop in the city. If that ain't bad biz, then you tell me. 'Cause from where I stand, it's plain to see. And we buy.
Make Mother's Day unforgettable with Kelly's House and Home's Mother's Day sale starting Friday, May 1st through Saturday, May 9th. Save 20% on a lovely selection of dinnerware, glassware, luggage, silk flowers, and picture frames, except on net items. We have beautiful gifts that let Mom know just how much she's appreciated. Shop early and enjoy 20% off at Kelly's House and Home during our Mother's Day sale May 1st through 9th. Happy Mother's Day with love from Kelly's House and Home.
A paid political message by the Free National Movement's candidate for Fort Charlotte, Travis Robinson.
Fort Charlotte, stand up! Bahamas, wake up! All across this nation, time to see the truth clear now. Tell Brave and Sebas, all money ain't good money. FNM, we ready. Hey! Hey, hey. Brave say he love the poor man, but the poor man can't see no plan. Sebas get rich, now we run the land, while Bahamians catching elegant. Big mansion, big cars, big talk, but can't walk, the people walk. All that money and still can't rest. Power hungry, heart can't bless. All money ain't good money. Brave, you know, you sell his soul of the nation for a number show. Sebas County million FNM say no. Fort Charlotte rise, let the truth flow. All money ain't good money.
A paid political message for Fort Charlotte, Travis Robinson.
At Star General, you can go gold. Comprehensive car insurance covers loss or damage from accidents, fire, theft, and third-party liability. But the Gold package gives you increased coverage for rental car and windscreen, personal accident, medical benefits, deductible waiver, and 24-hour roadside assistance where available. Our Star General Gold package also gives you up to $2,500 for accidental damage to a rental car anywhere in the Bahamas. Go gold with Star General. Insurance made simple.
You try to rest, roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers. For window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it. Just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Put more money back in your pocket with the Fidelity Debt Consolidation Loan. Why pay more when you can pay less? Reduce it down to one low, easy payment. Apply for a Fidelity Debt Consolidation Loan today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, we wouldn't change now. This thing must end. Hey!
SOS, Code Red.
SOS.
Red. FNMs. This Tuesday, April 28th, we're going home to R.M. Billy Park for a mass rally, 7:30 p.m. Yes, we're going home. It's time to protect our vote. Time to protect our passports. Time to protect our birthright. Come, hear from our leader, Michael Pintard, on how the FNM will work for you to protect our Bahamaland. SOS, SOS. We're going home to R.M. Billy Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. FNMs. The time is now.
They say 5 more. We say no way. You can't just take Bahamaland and give this place away.
Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app. Nassau, Bahamas. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business here on Guardian Radio 96.9. I'm Chester Robards along with Duquesa Dean. And we have special guests today. We are talking about the orange economy, and from the Orange Economy Unit of the Ministry of Economic Development, Angelique McKay. Welcome.
Hi, it's Economic Affairs.
Economic Affairs. I was going to say, I don't know
Yes,
no
sir.
economic development.
Yeah, I don't know. That one is a little rig up. Maybe
Yeah.
that was to get me engaged early.
That's what it is. That's what it is. And I'm sorry, I don't know your royal title. I would have said it.
Queen Mother.
Queen Mother. Queen Mother.
Queen Mother. Yes, that's the royal title.
Yes, Queen Mother. Welcome to the
Mother
show.
of Staffordshire.
Ah.
Thank you, Jester. Happy to be here.
Always a good time talking to you, so I'm sure this will be a good segment. And this is our monthly spotlight on the Orange Economy series. So tell us, what are we getting into today?
Well, we have a special guest, Dr. Maria Barrow. She's talking about one of the hottest topics on the planet right now.
Okay.
She is talking about urban transit, Carnival of Creatives. It's a huge movement right now connecting the Caribbean, U.S., and Africa by way of festivals and festival development,
Okay.
right? And it's about curating a festival ecosystem. She can dive deep into it because she's been at this for years.
Yes.
And what we've found in the creative industry is the world is not as big as it used to be with all of these innovative technology things that are going on. The world is shrinking, and we're able to advance so many things and highlight so many things within the creative industry that it's mind-boggling at this particular point.
Yeah.
You know, and we all know that creatives make the world go round.
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
Maybe you could set the stage a little for us who look at a festival here, and do we? Should that be our understanding of what a festival is and what a festival should look like?
Well, we have some festivals currently that follow the festival model. And I know I have been pushing festivals for quite a number of years
Yes.
because a festival allows for so many of our creatives to be highlighted and gain economic empowerment in one setting, in one day. Because you have the graphic artists, you have the performing artists, you have the sound engineers, you have the stage production, you have roving artists, you have makeup artists, you have culinary artists. You have so many artists that are able to eat from one festival. right? And another one of the things that I have also been pushing is for the Bahamas to be branded as the boutique festival capital of the world based on the number of festivals that we have annually throughout the archipelago. So we do have some that follow the standard practices of what a festival is, and we have some that need to pull up their socks so that we could have that global branding country to have. So we have quite a number of festivals that follow the model. We have over 80 festivals that take place annually in the country.
Wow. Wow. That's pretty impressive.
Yes.
So we have Dr. Barrow with us. Yes?
Yes, I
She
am
should be
here.
there.
Good
Okay.
morning.
Yes, good morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. It's good to be back in the Bahamas, even if virtually. I consider it one of my Caribbean homes. I've done a lot of research there over the past 20 years, collaboration with visual arts practitioners in the space.
Okay.
So it's no stranger to me.
Excellent. So how have we been doing?
Oh,
Over the
the
years.
Bahamas fascinates me. I have, I wrote my MPhil thesis based on a space called Sacred Space,
Okay.
Genesis, out at Clifton Pier by artist Antonius Roberts, and has been on that project. And then I also then did my, good portion of my doctoral thesis looking at the broader visual arts practice in the Bahamas and really digging down and describing what that looks like in relation to other Caribbean countries and, the broader Caribbean playing field. So the Bahamas always impresses me in terms of the dialogue, what's happening, how engaged you all are, and how united you all are in pushing the arts. And I think that industry facing agenda has been really strong in the Bahamas and is really impressive. And it really positions the Bahamas as a leader in that regard.
What made you choose us to do your study on that? Because that's amazing.
So I think I was put in touch with someone in the Bahamas through my sister many years ago. I'm talking 2004. And they were having, I believe, an event in the Bahamas, and I decided to attend the event. Showed up to make my intent very clear that I was going to do something in the Bahamas. And so I walked into Antonius Roberts' gallery, and that was it, Between the gallery and walking onto the site, it was a pivotal moment for me in terms of the way the site disturbed me on an emotional level, to the point where I couldn't even utter my name. Someone asked me, "Well, what's your name?" And I said to them, "Give me a moment." And to me, that level of interruption in your kind of psychic engagement that can be created by the arts is really the fundamental aspect that the arts really, helps us to address, right? It can shift ways of thinking, it can shift ways of engaging. And that particular site, Genesis, has had that impact on, I dare say, thousands right back to the artist and back to, the Bahamas, saying how the site has impacted them, how it has rendered them speechless. The kind, shot movies, had weddings. It has been really phenomenal. And so it's exemplary to me in terms of the work that the arts can do on a social level, on an economic level, on a psychic level. So I literally have spent decades writing on that particular project, but engaging more broadly with the visual arts practice.
That's
Beautiful.
awesome. Yeah. So tell us about this movement now that we're talking about with festivals, where we're bridging the Caribbean and the U.S. and Africa.
So I will start with, one of our first festivals. We have held, this is our fifth festival. And I run a company called Caribbean in Transit. It's been around for 15 plus years. It's a nonprofit registered in Trinidad and Tobago and the US and soon South Africa. And so this work we have been doing in the industry has been longstanding. And we held, I think, 2 or 3 of our festivals in Trinidad and Tobago, but we held one in Washington, D.C. in collaboration with the Inter-American Development Bank in D.C. and invited several practitioners from the region to speak at the seminar aspect of the festival. And one of them was one of your very own, Ms. Pam Burnside, who spoke on the panel alongside Dr. Keith Nurse, alongside Ewan Simpson from Jamaica, and so on. During that panel, the book, The Orange Economy Bank, Felipe Buitrago, was launched. And so I believe, Pam went on to share that kind of started a movement, and she brought it back to the Bahamas, and it started a movement of the orange economy in the Bahamas. So that's where it started. We've always been involved. And both my longstanding research, as well as my tour of duty at the Caribbean Development Bank as the incepting coordinator for the cultural and creative industries, helped me to really understand the impact of festivals regionally and their potential for intersecting with a range of industries, what we call the transversal aspect of the cultural and creative industries. So that is how they intersect with tourism or education or, urban planning and so on, placemaking. And so this pivotal role of the festival in becoming an engine for the cultural and creative industries and its development is really what is at the center of this drive. And what we're developing is a festival ecosystem where we not only connect festivals between spaces, but we begin to collect the data from festivals. We understand the layered impact of festivals in our countries, in our region, and so on. So data is one of the major gaps in the region and, in building the cultural and creative industries. And why we're starting with festivals is because even though we have several subsectors, so fashion, film, dance, etc., festivals can subsume all of them, right? You can have a dance festival, a literature festival, a film festival, and so on. So that if we start to collect data from festivals, we can really use that as a foundation to grow the industry overall. So I want to stop there because I feel like I'm talking a lot.
No,
But I'm interested.
Yeah, it's a good base.
Sorry, Shasta, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's a good base. You had a question?
Yeah, I do. What sort of data would be important, and is this because I see you want to develop like an ecosystem for them. So is this to standardize them, or this is really exciting?
Yes. So data collection from levels, right? And I apologize for everything rings on every platform that I have. So the data collection, first of all, we have to decide what data we're collecting, right? There's the obvious things like, okay, who's attending the festival, who's registering, what's the difference between actual registration and attendance, right? Because there's often a gap there. Lots of people register, but they don't necessarily attend. What's the difference between those festivals that are charging or the kind of community-oriented indigenous festivals and how we categorize those? So we're collecting data on some basic levels, but we're also trying to collect the data in terms of if there's a festival happening, are persons visiting from abroad, both to present at the festival and or to attend the festival. So there's that level of data. Then we're collecting data in terms of the actual, participation, the actual act and performance of the festival. Where are those things being archived, right? Can you have a hybrid interface for a festival so that, persons who are, can't make it for all kinds of reasons can still participate virtually? And then there's the output for the festivals that we're looking at. So we're looking at festival what is the labor situation? How many persons have been employed by the festival? On what levels have they been employed? And there are myriad outputs, right? Who has partnered as a result of attending the festival? What have they created together? Where has that, how has that been leveraged beyond? And why are we doing that? Well, just as I shared, I can speak to the anecdotal impact of my festival, saying that Miss Burnside attended. She then went back to the Bahamas and hosted an Orange Economy event at the central bank in the Bahamas. But beyond me remembering, a few of these anecdotal stories that I may have found out years later, I can't speak to the actual impact of my festival. And when I can't speak to that, how can a bank, an insurance company, or somebody else meaningfully invest in that and speak to their investment and the ROI on their investment? So it's not just, data because we think it's important. Yeah, but we have to develop an industry, right? And so data is a key component in industry development. And then there's another level to that, right? We all know about Spotify, Apple Music, and the whole range of them, right? And oftentimes, musicians or whoever can go on there, they can get onto a playlist, which might be challenging, but they get on there and they can see some of their data in terms of who's listening, from where, etc. But guess what? We do not own that data. And folks, data is king, right? Data is one substantive aspect of the industry that is monetized. And so if we are not owning our own data, then that means somebody else is monetizing our data. And we have to change that as a region because it is a neo-colonial context that persists and we need to, in short.
Yeah, no, appreciate that overview. But do people understand that that's what festivals can do or are? As I think people think a festival is you go out, maybe have a good time, maybe you learn something about something new that you came there for. But do people understand that maybe festivals is something a little deeper?
I hope they do. I mean, I think the practitioners themselves, they know instinctively, the impact and the meaning of festivals because there are also all kinds of festivals, right? So I don't want us to think about festivals as, monolithic in that sense. You have spiritual festivals, you have resistance festivals, you have community, you have commercial, there's so many kinds of festivals.
Mm-hmm.
And so we also need to distinguish between the kinds,
right?
What their intentions are. And, in the case of, for example, Trinidad and Tobago Carnival, we have a situation where, the carnival started as one thing. It's an act of resistance. It's an act of masking and unmasking. We could talk about all the theoretical and kind of knowledge components of that. But then there's a trend towards the commercialization of the festival that traditional practitioners are always pushing back against, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
What are the systems in place to maintain the integrity of the festival on a certain level while affording economic benefits to creators and creatives? So, there's that aspect. And then there's a contention where, the creatives themselves who are producing the mass or the format, the form, they're not being paid. But the persons building the stages are being paid, and the lighting and the, vendors, etc. They're getting money, but the creatives are the last to be paid, if ever they really get anything much. So, we could go on for days speaking about the dimensions of this. But at the base of it, if we can't collect this data to what is shifting and to push in that direction, then, we're spinning top in mud.
We're doing what?
Well, I don't know if that's a saying in the Bahamas. We say in Trinidad, we're spinning top in mud, meaning like we're just, we're marching in one spot.
So what? Yeah,
I was like, what?
I got you. So what are we to, I guess, kind of take away about festivals, and especially like what you're trying to move in the region and in Africa. And how big is your movement?
Well, we have hosted our festival in Trinidad and Tobago at the Central Bank Auditorium, and we did a 3-day festival. We had, for example, 7 ambassadors, the minister of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Export Development from Grenada participating. And then we moved to South Africa, where we had, the head of Business Arts South Africa, a music agent who has managed the most famous South African rapper, AKA, and others participating in that festival. So in terms of participation and speakers, it has been really, really fun. And then we've also been hosting a class between University of the West Indies Mona campus and University of Witwatersrand in South Africa, looking at festivals and festival practice. And, that also gave them the opportunity to volunteer for our South Africa leg of the festival. And then simultaneous with that, we have our first festival cohort who are going to be onboarded into this dashboard and this mechanism ongoing. And, that includes one Bahamian festival, I'm proud to say. So we have that happening simultaneously. And then we have a consortium of companies in the cultural and creative industries. So right now we have 6 from the Caribbean, 6 from South Africa, significant entities. So for example, Music in Africa Foundation, which hosts a platform of over 50,000 African musicians and their own festival access, which is part of this dashboard that I'm speaking of. So we have that happening simultaneously. And what we've been doing is connecting between the festivals hosted by our partners and ourselves. So we've participated in Access, which is Music in Africa's Foundation's festival in South Africa last November. And then in October last year, we participated in Africa Tourism Partners. They partnered with ACTFA, which is the African Free Continental Trade Area organization, to host their inaugural festival in Ghana. That was called Connect Creatives Africa, or Creatives Connect Africa, sorry. And so those festivals are part of this festival ecosystem that we have been connecting. So it's a layered enterprise. It's definitely an exciting one. It's on the level of innovation, connection, leveraging finance and financing tools for the sector. So it's a big enterprise, and it's been going well, but it's definitely a labor of love. It's a lot of work.
Tell us about the financing aspect of it. We hear a lot of times that creatives are left out of financing. Is that changing now? Are people seeing the value in putting money into the creative arts? Cultural arts?
You're asking some heavy questions there, sir.
And that was a deep sigh too, just now.
Yeah, that was a deep sigh. So the answer, right? What we've seen in the last, let's say 7 to 8 years is that there have been funding mechanisms coming out of the region, which suggests that we are a little bit more cognizant of the need to fund the industry. CARICOM and ministers of government have mandated the formation of the fund that I incepted, the Cultural and Creative Industries Innovation Fund. And the CDB took up the mandate to execute and implement that fund. Thereafter, private organizations and so on also brought together their own funding through open societies, I think it's called, forming the Caribbean Culture Fund. So there's also that fund.
Right.
And then there was another funding initiative or another, initiative, because it wasn't simply funding, called Transcultura, coming out of Cuba, right? But reaching across the region as well. And so that was a pretty big, I would say that would be the biggest project in terms of the amount of funding. It was 15 million euros, but kind of housed in Cuba and extending into the region. And then most recently, collaborators across the region came together and ACF EU funding and created the fund. So there have been those, how many did I just call? 3 or 4 funding mechanisms, funding / capacity development, etc.
Right.
mechanisms in the region, which is more than has been in the past, right? Prior to that, about 10 years ago, there was a funding mechanism, it died. And again, because the data wasn't collected in a meaningful way, we can't speak to the effects of it in concrete, in concrete and widely accessible terms, right?
Yeah.
So there is something happening, and what governments and heads of nations and so on have recognized is that the cultural and creative industries is what we call the sunrise economy, according to UN ECLAC, where it's the shortest period of investment, or shortest run of monetized, right? Or a skill level that can be monetized.
Right.
And it is also an area that youth can very easily get involved with. And of course, we have some of the highest creative output in the world. So it is meaningful for our economies on so many levels. There's that recognition, but there is still a huge gap in terms of the investment and the kinds of tools that are required to make this really functional. There are very few creative companies that can access loans. There are very few creative companies that are self-sustaining.
Yeah.
So those are some of the, major gaps, and I can go on that, of course. But let me stop there.
Yeah, no, of course. What I'm hearing is there's a lot of people who might be fighting for a small pool of resources to even get started in the region. How do festivals? You mentioned, there's certain education that comes out of festivals. Is you get to have eyes on individuals at festivals. How does festivals play into all of that?
Well, I think that is where the dashboard comes in. We have to start pooling our resources and being more structured in our approach to make this sustainable. There's limited funding, and of course, creative funding is always the first to be cut. During COVID, funding was taken away and redirected to essential services and so on, right? And that is really, really often the case. But just like those essential services or at-risk communities, it leaves our creatives in the category of at risk when those things happen as well.
Right.
But there's no one counting who these creatives are, because it's part of the informal economy. There are all kinds of layered ways that this gets complicated. And it may sound like a roundabout answer to your question, but it's that is the whole thing. It's not a simple situation. And funding the industry, or the question of funding the industry, really has to be to specialists, because building this industry is not a straightforward case.
Right.
We need to know what we're doing, very simply. And we need to put people in places and positions who know what they're doing in order to build this industry. And then the funding situation will start to come together from there. But the long and short of it is, if we don't collectivize, we will be addressing this in silos, and funding cannot operate in silos for us because there's not enough to go around.
Yeah.
How do you, I guess my question is two-part. How are people responding to the call for coming together, collective, for this collective entity? How is, prospective sponsors, how responding? Are you seeing where there's light at the end of the tunnel?
Is there light at the end of the tunnel? So it is coming together, but it's a slow process. What we find is that you get sponsorship in kind before you get before you get financial sponsorship. But one of the challenges I would see, even though there's interest and even though persons recognize the need for this intervention, is that our societies they don't know how to invest in innovation. Innovation requires an entire ecosystem approach. It's what you call the economics of innovation. There's actually a field of study called the economics of innovation that Compete Caribbean offers a course in that I recently did. And that ecosystem means that government, private sector, tertiary educations and so on need to come together to invest in innovative solutions to challenges in order to shift the landscape, in order to drive us forward. And because that exists or it's weak in the region, you find that innovative projects like this, it's hard for people to buy into because there's not a culture or an appetite for that risk, those kind of more risky projects or projects that they don't fully understand. They tend to go for the low-hanging fruit. So that's a little bit of a long-winded answer again, but I want to give an example that I hope will drive it home. Everybody knows Canva, right? Are you all aware of Canva?
Yes.
The platform that does all the graphics and so on, that everybody is like a household name now. Canva was started by an entrepreneur like myself who just needed a solution for her business and came up with a solution, recognized that it really worked for her, and then was able to get government and private sector to invest in this solution. Government and private sector investment. That is how an Australian company, Canva, became worldwide. It did not happen with one man alone, or in this case, with one woman alone. And so our governments need to be open to that in order for us to drive forward. But that's a cultural shift. And so the persons who are doing this having to drive it on their own, and it's a heavy lift.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't want to be too
Sounds heavy.
So what do people what do you want people to take away from this conversation today? I know again these conversations are widespread, often end in dismay for creatives. Have we hosted Carafesta in a while or ever? I remember some controversy behind it, but I don't recall if
I love your
did.
question, sir. I love your question. The answer is
that itself is a controversy right there. But
well, and so Carifesta 15 was hosted in August 2025 by the Barbadian government in Barbados. I was one of the coordinators, so I hosted two portfolios, big conversations, of which there were 25 big conversations, and the symposia that was held in partnership with the University of the West Indies. Barbados. So yes, the answer is yes. This was one of the topics I taught at the class that I recently taught at University of the West Indies Mona campus. It was very, very interesting to me to learn that so many young creatives did not even know what Carifesta was and had never attended. And in doing some further research, I recognized that there was an instance where CariFesta was supposed to be hosted in the Bahamas, and it never happened. And persons like Dr. Nicolette Bethel and a whole host of creatives not only wrote on this, but created their own institutions in the gap that was left by CariFesta not happening.
Yes.
And these institutions have carried on to today. So interesting question. That was a segue. Didn't mean to get into there. You asked about what I want people to take away. We want them to invest. We want them to court innovation, invest in innovation, and be a trendsetter in that regard. Come to the table, ask what they can do, how they can invest, how they can partner, and build together with the sector the meaningful interventions that are required to grow it. Likewise, we want festivals to come to the table and invest in their own M&E, which we call monitoring and evaluation, because this solution not only provides monitoring and evaluation for their own festivals, but it provides increased access to a network for their creatives, for artist mobility across festivals in the network, and so on and so on and so on. So it's a call both to our public and private sector as well as our governmental institutions to come to the table, as well as our festivals to come to the table.
Yeah. We see private sector doing some work around the creative industries. Is it, and I don't know the extent across the region, but I know it's a little iffy sometimes here. How does it look other places?
I would say just about the same.
Okay.
I would say, I think that the Bahamas has some scope and some interest, and I think that they have done a lot of the work, particularly I could speak more so to the visual arts sector. There's the National Art Gallery of the Bahamas that has done amazing work. There are a range of visual arts festivals and spaces by artists, what we call backyard spaces. And it just means artist-led initiative doing serious work. So I think there is a lot happening in the Bahamas, and in many ways, I think you are leaders in terms of how you're engaging and the approach that you're taking, even if you don't have as kind of extensive a history, let's say, of, Jamaica in terms of supporting the arts, right? Because Jamaica, you can talk about it from independence times and Edna Manley and so on, right? And I can't speak to that in terms of Bahamas. It may be there, I just cannot personally speak to it. I don't know. But certainly I know that what you all have been doing in the visual arts in the last 10 plus years has been significant.
Yeah. Visual artists doing their thing, I can tell you that.
Yes,
and
yes, indeed.
we're very proud of them around here. So you're writing a book as well. Tell us, don't give it all away, but of course, what can we expect to learn from what the research you've been doing for your book?
So the book is, as everything I do, layered. And it's on looking, it's really kind of looking at the work that is being done through this festival ecosystem and building on that. But also building on, what I did while I was at the bank, the Caribbean Development Bank, and prior, and how all of these things intersect. And I think one of the things for me is that this work isn't, you can't decompartmentalize this work in the way that you would in the Western Hemisphere, in inverted commas, right? Our communities are integrated. We don't have the manpower to segment and segregate work and industry layers in the way that other places do. And what I mean by that very simply is that how many artist managers do you know in the Caribbean, right? How many intellectual property lawyers do you know? We may have one or two of each of those things, and it's not enough to build an industry. So what this book does is look at the festival ecosystem as a whole and really drill down into how we're doing this work, why we're doing this work, and making it an evidence-based reflection on that process. So it is contracted by Routledge, and it will be coming out next year. It's due at the end of August, so I have a lot of work ahead of me. But it is, it is moving because the festival is moving, and I am writing on that.
Excellent. We look forward to that being completed.
Thank you.
I know we're wrapping up, Chester and Marielle and Angelique. I have somewhat of what I would term a controversial question right before we go. And with all the work that's being done by you and others to bring communities together, to give the orange economy, to advance more, there is this thought that we cannot be collective. We are brown people, struggle to work together to bring about things that would benefit us more if there was a collective effort versus individually trying to run these avenues. What are your thoughts around seeing how that's perhaps a myth, or if it is somewhat factual, how is it looking like it's changing?
I love it. You ask the hard questions. I would say, like, in every community, there are those who will be different, right? There are those who are individualistic, and there are those who are community oriented. And there are sufficient community oriented persons in our society to make it work. Is it a hard prospect and project? Absolutely. But we have Angelique here. We have all the other partners that I'm working with from across the region and in Africa who recognize the importance of collectivizing. It is a best practice in the industry, mind you. The most powerful agents in these industries collectivize. And so while it may be somewhat, not the tradition in our societies, there are those who recognize the necessity and who are of that like mind. And so we work with like-minded persons who believe in reciprocity, who believe in strength in numbers, who believe in unifying. And unifying doesn't mean that there are not multiple stories and multiple ways of doing things. It means that we align strategically on shared points of vision to build something greater.
Wow.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Collaboration. We do it well here, Angelique?
Well, not so much, not as much as I would like,
Yeah.
but I see I see it growing. And for me, one of the things is for me to collaborate beyond our borders as well, so that we could create or allow our creatives to have economic gains outside of our borders. I know I have been working along with Festival and Homecoming and Regatta Desk to help them strengthen that collaboration when we have all of these different festivals. So we're getting there. We're not where we should be, but any movement is good movement, eh?
Quite
yeah,
right.
and I think the work that you're doing is very valuable. Even
Yeah.
these every month segments. Today Miss Marielle brought a lot of education, a lot of information. Last week you were on. Was it last week? Yeah, last week you were on, and you were on with the minister from Africa, and even the exposure to the different conversations that you're having is so important, and it takes a trailblazer. So to both of you, while it may be, times of discouragement because it's hurdles you have to get over, like once you get past those humps, you begin to reap the reward. So we impress upon you to continue and to be encouraged in the work that you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Labor of love. We can't stop. We can't stop because this passion was planted in us from the Creator Himself. So we press on.
Absolutely.
Well said.
It's often thankless work, but we thank you.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
And we
Thank you.
appreciate you. Excellent conversation today. How can people, just tell us, how can people reach you and get involved?
I think the best way is to reach out through our social media. We are at Curb in Transit on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and on Instagram. Persons can reach out to me personally as well. I'm Marielle Megan, Maignan, on LinkedIn, Instagram, and I think Marielle Barrow on Facebook. And and you can also come through Angelique, to learn more about the work that we're doing. But again, we have many collaborators in the Bahamas as well. We have Mr. Antonius Roberts, we have John Cox. So, there are many roots in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Excellent stuff. Thank you so much for that information. Glad to know there's always a silver lining, and thank you for bringing that.
Thank you.
Next month.
Yes, and thank you so much.
See you next month.
All righty. Have a good one.
That's our show for today. DeQuacity, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Chester. It was a wonderful show.
Pick up the NASA.
And again, happy birthday to Dwight.
Yes, happy birthday, Dwight. Happy birthday, Dwight. See you tomorrow, D.
All right.
Pick up today's NASA Guardian business section, today's business report, and read it. It's brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. That's our show. Have a blessed day. God bless all of you. Be good to each other. And that is the song to end the show. Have a great one.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Oh, did I eat up all the food? Did I drink down all the rum sweet? We can scrape it dance all night long to the sounds of the ancient man. Now you done blow your candle, you done open all your gifts. We done sing a happy birthday and you done made a birthday wish. While my mind asking a question, Lord, I will be. You give your first piece of birthday cake too. Oh Lord, my God, I pray that it's me. Oh, did I need all the
Hey folks, thanks for your patience. We'll be taking off very shortly. You should be wheels up in about 40 minutes. And due to a bumpy ride, snacks and beverage service has been suspended. AC has given us some trouble. Sorry, folks. And Wi-Fi is out. And so is the entertainment. Yeah, I'm sorry about the smell, folks. We are aware.
I know.
Just one more quick note. We are going to have to deplane.
Come on! We're like the plane ride that isn't a nightmare. CG Atlantic agents and brokers. Good like that.
Planning for retirement can be overwhelming, but with CFAL, it doesn't have to be. We offer tailor-made individual, group, and pension solutions that take the guesswork out of retirement planning. Whether it's for you or your company, don't leave your future to chance and let the trusted hands of CFAL's experts guide you toward peace of mind and financial stability. Low upfront costs and affordable monthly payments make it easy for you to build wealth so you can live well. Visit us at cfal.com to start on your path toward financial freedom. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
CFAL is a proud sponsor of Team Bahamas for the 2026 Carifta Games.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car bottom. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Struggling to find your financial rhythm? Make that move to Fidelity and let us help you orchestrate your financial goals into perfect harmony with free financial coaching sessions. Make that move today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.